This is something that makes me feel alive. Whether you succeed at it or not, the pursuit of success is very gratifying. I was always fascinated with characters and storytelling. I get to do all of that now.
I'm Naomi, and this is Character Select, the show where I sit down with the most talented voices in gaming. Today I'm talking with Paul Castro Jr., voice actor and performer whose roles span the gamut of gaming. Genshin Impact, Final Fantasy, and so many others. He shares about how he got started, what it's really like working in the industry, and the big goals he's chasing next, both in front of the mic and behind the camera. Hi, Paul. Welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I really want to get to know more about Paul. I want to know everything about where you started, where you grew up, and what made you into the character actor that you are today.
Oh, I am a character, and I that might be a deeper discussion to figure out that. But I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, as a kid. My family eventually had moved to New Jersey, and I was just kind of a big gamer, big nerd growing up. I loved video games and all of that stuff, and it's really kind of shaped me into the person that I've become. I think if somebody who knew me when I was a kid saw what I'm doing now, they would say, okay, that makes sense. And my parents, they didn't really do anything that's related to what I'm doing. And I didn't really have anybody around me that was ever an actor or a performer that was working in video games. I mean, when our parents were growing up, it was Atari, it was Pong, it was all of those things. So, my mom was like an assistant for like a dentist, and my dad was an HVAC repairman. So when they found out that I wanted to be an actor, they were like, okay.
Yeah.
It was very, it was random, but not so random. My mom always knew that I was a bit of class clown and a comedian and a jokester, and I was studying pre-med in college. I thought I'd be a doctor, and that quickly presented itself to not be something I would ever be good at.
Why do you think that is?
I just don't have... I give the credit to one of my college professors who really made me disdain memorizing biology stuff. And so I shout out to her. I don't remember her name, but she was just, you ever have a teacher that they just they didn't want to help you outside of the class time, whatever it was,
yeah,
that's what it was. She just I wouldn't get something and she'd be like, well, figure it out. And it's like, well, I'm just not learning the same way as other people. And so I wound up finding myself in an improv sketch group in college, and that changed everything for me. I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. I didn't know that you could do this as a job. And I had always been joking with my friends. I was a big skateboarder. We would make videos of ourselves, skateboarding. And this was during the MTV, not to curse here, but jack butt days, where you make stupid videos with your friends. And we were all doing that. And parkour was big when I was growing up.
Parkour.
Yeah, hardcore parkour. I mean, definitely we thought we were those guys. A lot of our friends had a lot of broken bones. But again, I was in college doing this sketch improv group, loved it. I decided to audition for the school play, and I got a small, tiny part, and that was kind of it. And it unlocked everything for me. I was for whatever reason, I was a very emotional kid growing up too. And I would cry a lot, and things would always move me, like movies, and it was one of those things where as an actor, it was good to be emotionally available. That was considered a good job. Whether that was crying or just listening to people and being empathetic. So that was a change for me when I noticed, where it was okay, you're being sensitive is a superpower here. So that's kind of how I fell in love with everything. And then even just reading plays and watching movies, I've always loved storytelling. I've cartoons even. I've watched every single it's funny to see X-Men series come back now, but every one of the X-Men, the animated series, every Ninja Turtles episode, like I was always fascinated with characters and storytelling. So I get to do all of that now.
Yeah. Do you remember the moment you decided I'm going to act? Or was it kind of just, like you said, kind of a plethora of different things?
My mom had seen, well, again, I was miserable in this pre-med track that I was doing, and my mom saw a thing in the newspaper where they were holding auditions for this musical, Miss Saigon. And I when I was, I guess, how old was I? 19, maybe. So when I was 19, I looked like I was 12. And if you know anything about Miss Saigon, this was at a regional theater, like a LORT contract. Like this was an equity production, a real deal.
Wow.
And if you know anything about Miss Saigon, there is not a part for me in that musical. But my mom was like, I think you might like doing this. So to her credit, I went to these musical auditions and I made a fool of myself. I think I blacked out. I don't think I even sang a lyric. I was so overcome with fear. But that was a moment for me where it was so scary and terrifying. But at the same time, it was exhilarating. And I was like, this is something that makes me feel alive. And like, I was like, I want to do that again, but I want to do it better. I want to actually not pass out. I want to like try.
Right.
And that's where the school play came in. And I wound up getting a small part. So that was definitely the turning moment of like, this is exciting. This is fun. All of the improv stuff that I eventually wound up doing, like those were rewarding and I felt good. That was the light bulb moment of I want to chase this, whatever it is. And not necessarily even as like a thing that I'm going to become, rich off of, but just as like a human. I was like, I need to be doing this.
It fulfills you.
Yeah.
What do you remember about your school play after Juliet?
Well, that was the first play that I had done. And shout outs to my director, Nicole Ricciardi, there, because she knew I was like this. As much as I was a gamer and a nerd, I was also like a skateboarder and a slacker too, where like, so, I had this long hair. I was probably wearing a puka shell necklace at the time. I thought I was too cool for school. And she was like, all right, we're going to remove all of that. Whatever you think you are as this cool kid, that's all of the barrier and the armor you're putting on.
Right.
And she gave me this kind of character that is, it's based off of what happens after Romeo and Juliet. So I played one of the Capulets, Lorenzo, and I'm in like this duo with this other guy. And we had a couple like emotional moments in there, and that was definitely an eye-opening moment for me to connect that sensitivity and emotional availability to words. So that started it all for me, and then that was one of the first plays I'd done at that same college. I did a play called The Shape of Things that is actually a movie with Rachel Weisz and Paul Rudd that Neil LaBute wrote and directed. And that was the first time as an actor I was playing the lead role in a play. And I loved it, every second of it. Super challenging, but I loved it.
Challenging, it seems to be the key word here. You really like a challenge.
Don't we all to some degree? I feel like we want to be like, maybe some people don't. They like Easy Street. But for me, I just find it so rewarding when something is hard, and whether you succeed at it or not, like the pursuit of success is very gratifying.
Yeah, it ties perfectly into probably your love for video games, I'd say. And definitely for me, it's the same thing. Like, it's the dopamine hit, it's the challenge, it's like knowing that you can accomplish something. So would you say that was like what drew you in for video games in particular?
Oh, man. It's just, you made me think of, I was on the plane the other day and I was playing Expedition 33. And there's like these boss fights that they present you with where like you're definitely not strong enough to do them like early in the game. But I was like, if I parry or dodge every single attack, I think I could beat this right now. And so I spent an 8-hour plane ride doing that. And I wound up beating like an early boss. I'm sorry, now I forget your question. What was the question again?
Just, do you think that was the thing that pulled you into your love for video games? Like the fact that it was a challenge that you could overcome and you liked that feeling?
I mean, that mixed with it being a fantastical escape from reality. I grew up, my family didn't have a lot of money, getting an above ground pool was like we were hit the lottery when that
Same
was
upbringing for me. Yeah.
So, when that happened, it was like, or playing games was just a way to kind of like shut out the stresses that my parents were having about finances and life and all the things that they try to hide you from. But you, as a kid, you're very perceptive to those things. You're like, something's going on here. I feel like my parents are fighting.
You sense it, even if even if it's behind closed doors too. You're like, oh, there's like an extra element of like stress here that that just is like permeating everything.
Absolutely. And again, I was a sensitive kid, so I was like a lightning rod for any of those things happening. And video games was an escape, as well as movies. But games, particularly RPGs, I was just able to lose myself in like becoming the hero of something and being the person who can fix things. And then eventually I found the competitive aspect of gaming, like MMOs and games like Smash Brothers. And then it was like, oh, I may not be the tallest kid on the football field. I may not be the fastest kid on the track. But I'm pretty good at like these video games. And it was a way for me to feel good about something where, being a short guy, you're not the most likely to get the football scholarship. So like that was another place where I was like, I think I could be really good at this. And at that time, being a pro gamer was not even like in the cards.
Right. It wasn't a thing. Esports wasn't even a thing.
It was just a way for me to find value among my friend groups, I think, to be like the guy who's really good at video games, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's the delusion I've created for myself. I don't know.
It was kind of the blend of your love for storytelling and then the fact that you could basically work in video games,
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite franchise that you were like, one day I'm going to voice for this? I'm going to play a character like this in a video game.
Final Fantasy was definitely on that list. And
nice.
Getting a role. Getting a role in that meant a lot. Like when I moved to LA, they were doing the first part because it's 3 parts of the remake series. And I just missed auditions for the first part. And so I was like, that's it. I've lost my chance. Because I didn't even know that it was going to be a 3-part thing at the time. I just knew from whispers in the industry, no pun intended here for anyone who plays Final Fantasy VII, to that I wasn't going to get the opportunity to do that. And then when the second part came around for Rebirth, I had one audition for one character in that game, and it was Billy, and I got it. So, and again, this was something that, because I had worked on another Square game before that, and I loved the original The World Ends With You, so that's also in there. But it definitely wasn't like a thing I ever thought would happen again, because that game came out 14 years ago and they made a sequel. So kind of similar with Final Fantasy, but I didn't even think that was a possibility. But the people who I worked with on Neo, The World Ends With You, also were working on Final Fantasy. So I think that really helped me, and they knew that I was a performer that was willing to give everything, for even a non-playable character in this world that I did. So that was for sure a franchise I wanted to. And a game and a series that I'm a huge fan of, that I was just in Tokyo and I got to see the live play of, and they had an exhibit for it, is this Konami series called Suikoden. And it's very niche.
I say Suikoden, but yes,
Suikoden, yeah,
is the proper way of saying it?
I used to call it Suikoden when I was a kid. So I mean, however the most people Suikoden in terms of the Japanese phonetic pronunciation, but Suikoden. In Metal Gear Solid, if you played that game and you used your save file, there was a character that would say, you played Suikoden.
There you go.
All these different pronunciations. They're making an anime of the second game right now, and they're also creating this new game called Starleap, and those are like, I would do anything to be a part of those. My whole back is a tattoo from that game, so that's how much of a fan I am.
Oh man, well, let's hope they're listening.
Please, Konami, please.
Yes. Do you have a project that you'd say is like the project that people recognize you from the most, or that you get asked about the most?
Right now, I would say it's probably Genshin Impact, and I play even a smaller character. That's well, it's changing. It was Genshin for a while, and I mean it's huge, and that game is it's bigger than anything I could have ever imagined. And I had played that game when it was first coming out, and I really wanted to be a part of it. So getting to be a part of it was super cool. But then it actually became Dragon Ball Daima, because I voiced this mini version of Vegeta. And that, again, I've had so many of these opportunities where I know we're in the world of remakes and nostalgia and all of that, but like to play characters that are like some of the best written characters in all of storytelling, like to be a version of Vegeta was mind-blowing. Yeah. And people have really been kind to me, because I know that there was like big shoes to fill. And Chris Sabat's performance as Vegeta, and even Brian Drummond before him, they did such a great job to live in that same like world that they are, is surreal. And now it's becoming a little bit, with the stuff that I've been out there for conventions or just meeting people. Twisted-Wonderland has been pretty popular. So combination of those three.
Tell me about Twisted-Wonderland.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so cool. It's this anime series that's based on a video game by the creators of Black Butler, that uses the Disney villains, the famous Disney villains that we all know, as kind of the inspiration for it. So it's kind of like magical wizard school meets Disney villains in this isekai world. And my character, the villain, he's one of the house wardens. So there's a bunch of house wardens that are based on the Disney villains. And mine is based on the Queen of Hearts. And the first season that we're in right now is kind of centered around Riddle's story. And it's one of the hardest performances I've ever had to give. And I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish, the entire cast and the English dubbing crew. Also, obviously, the animators and the original creators and the Japanese cast. But we worked really hard on this dub, and I pushed myself harder than I've ever had to push, and I'm just really proud of it. It's a fun story. Only 8 episodes. By the time this airs, I think all 8 will be out. And just a really, really fun show. And there's a bunch of seasons to come, so I think there's a lot for people to look forward to.
Congrats on landing that. You kind of touched on a little bit about the auditioning part, and how sometimes one job leads to another because of the people you work with.
Right.
Where would you say is the part? Do you fall more into that second category, or do you find yourself auditioning a lot? And do you even like the process of auditioning? And where do you sit on that?
There's a lot I love about auditioning, because you get this opportunity to play a role that you may not get in the final production of it. But as an actor, I truly try to embrace that an audition is a booking in a way. Mm-hmm. So like, I've gotten to audition for like the Joker before, and that's like a dream role. And I may not be the person who does that in the version of the story that you're seeing on TV or in the game or whatever it is. But for those 30 minutes or an hour that I'm auditioning, I'm living that role. Yeah. And as a performer, that's really cool. It becomes a lot when you have a lot of auditions to do, and you're, in one audition, you're imagining your whole village burning and your family dying. And in the other one, you're like the most happiest person on the human or on the planet. So that can get a little bit, mind altering in a way, where you're like, why are my emotions all over the place today? I just wanted to order a matcha and I'm crying. Yeah. It's like, because you just imagined your whole family being slaughtered. That's not, it's hard to shake that off. So I do like aspects of it. There's other aspects of it that are challenging. In terms of like just getting roles, I still audition for everything. I think maybe 2 or 3 times, and one of the first times just happened recently where I got an offer for something, and it wasn't even like I had auditioned for these projects before. I've auditioned for other roles, but they just gave me another role. Okay. I've never just been like, at least for like a game or for an anime, it's never been like a straight offer. Like, you
Right.
know, you're still going to read. We want to make sure you can do this. And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of the way it is for most voice actors. Maybe it's
Okay.
happened again on a handful of times, but it's very rare. I audition really hard. I think it's one of my strong suits because I fully commit. But I do think my relationships with the studios that I've worked with is part of why I do get booked, because it's not just enough to be a good auditioner. They need to
Right.
know on the day you're going to show up and you can perform. So that's
Mhm.
where the trust really comes into play.
Yeah, I'd imagine that just it just helps people be like, I know that this guy can do the work. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times these things move really fast and they don't have huge budgets. So they need to know that it's not going to take you, you know, a whole session to find the character and to get warmed up. They want to know you're coming in and you're going to make bold choices and you've
Yeah.
done your homework. So I try to do that as much as I can.
How often have you found yourself in the booth and they're asking you to improvise? Does that happen a lot? And how much leeway have you maybe on specific projects, or you know, maybe it's something that you've encountered here and there, but they let you kind of play a little bit with the character and like form it in a way?
Yeah. Less so in anime because like everything is pretty much there and they have to like match all these timing constrictions in the lip flaps. Games, you get it sometimes. And even in anime, maybe you can change a word or something that makes more sense that you would say and you feel like it would be more natural. You're playing the character for multiple episodes and they're like, you know it too. So like maybe you'll say, you know, I don't know, like just a different word that makes more sense in that moment.
Right.
For games, I've definitely had some moments where I've gotten to improv and it's really rewarding when you kind of get to go off script in a way and they're like, oh yeah, we like that. For original animation, like Disney, Nickelodeon, those types of things, I've gotten to do it way more. So I did an original series on Cartoon Network called Invincible Fight Girl. And I was kind of originating that role and I got to improv all the time. And I love it so much. I have, you know, a lot of my roots are in improv. And when you get to kind of make a moment that you're just finding from working with your scene partner or just from knowing the character that well, and when people start smiling or laughing, you're like, yeah, this is what it's all about. You know, let's all collaborate and find what works best. As a filmmaker myself, I'm of the mentality that, you know, the best idea wins. And sometimes having too many cooks in the kitchen can be harmful.
Totally.
But if you're able to navigate that kind of ego of things, I think that creates the most magic when everyone feels like they can bring their ideas and they're heard. Maybe not used all the time, but they're like, cool idea. Let's try it. Maybe it's not what we're going to go for.
Right. Do you watch and play? Obviously, you played Final Fantasy, but do you watch your own stuff all the time, or do you tend to not want to do that?
It depends. I'm not one of those people where like I can't not watch myself. I actually do enjoy when I get to see a finished product and to see all of my castmates' performances. I love seeing the great work that all of my friends and colleagues are doing. So I will watch a lot of stuff. A lot of times my wife really wants to watch it and she's like my biggest fan, and she's just so amazing when it comes to like encouraging me to watch things that maybe I would be like, well, I played this game, or sorry, I recorded this entire game. I know the entire story. I experienced it as an actor. Same with animes. If you're like a main character, it's like you've lived the story already. So you've kind of watched it. You're either watching it when you're watching the picture and you're dubbing it, or just from like saying the lines. So you've kind of already gone through it in a way. But I'm watching Twisted-Wonderland right now, and it's great. And I love seeing like everybody else's great work, and even just kind of like the direction of everything and the scenes that I'm not in to see what other people did. It's fun. So scary sometimes because I can be judgmental of myself. I'm like, man, I wish I did this and I did that. But I think I have a healthy relationship with it, and it helps me as a performer, and it doesn't hinder me.
Good. That's really good. It actually brings me to your YouTube channel, because I have a YouTube channel, so I know a little bit. You know, you have to rewatch the stuff you post. You have to like, sometimes you end up editing it yourself. Is that something that you like doing? Is that a part of is that something you want to continue to grow? Like I guess, what is your relationship between, okay, my job is to be a voice actor, but I still have to like market myself and be on other social platforms and then, how did that I guess the pursuit of a YouTube channel, how did that come about?
Well, I think, I mean, you probably know it better than I do, but, being everywhere in entertainment is only helpful, I think, to a certain degree. Like, everyone is always looking at social media or, your relevancy and how you can be on people's minds. I think that also helps as an actor for casting. So there is that element of it. The start of YouTube for me, I think, came as a love for just playing the games that I was in, or other games. I mean, I was Twitch streaming before I was ever a voice actor. So I loved playing games and I loved like just making it isn't in a way a marriage of acting, because you're on camera and you're performing, and gaming. So those were like my two things. Twitch was kind of both of those in one, and then I would put those videos on YouTube, and then I started a podcast because I'm fascinated with the process of other actors and I love the craft of acting. So I started this podcast, Points of Experience, which I do still do, but it's been on and off because of so many strikes that we've had in the acting unions, and I wanted to be respectful of people and talking about their projects. So YouTube started just from a love of playing the games, putting YouTube interviews on there, and then also now it's really become kind of another way to service and thank the fans. I'm doing interviews with the cast members of Twisted-Wonderland right now, and it's just kind of my way for me to meet the other cast members, because we don't always record together. It's a way to give to the fans, because they're like, we love you guys, we want to know more about you. So they've been super happy about it. So I'd love to keep growing the channel, and just I don't have a goal in mind necessarily. It's just something I'm doing, and it's like a hobby that I feel like is helping everything else.
Yeah, it's good. I watched some of your videos; they're really good.
Thank you.
You definitely have the YouTube vibe down pat.
I've played a couple of characters as a voice actor where they're like, "We want you to do like a YouTube character." I'm like, yeah, I know what you're looking for.
Got it. That brings me to your production company that you started with your wife. Tell me about it.
It's called Lynx Point Pictures. It is, we've been making films and short films for a while now. We one of our first projects too, we had made an independent TV pilot about a group of gamers called, at the time it was called Next Big Thing, but we wound up changing it to the Game Factory, which was the name of the store that I used to go to as a kid, and play card games like Magic the Gathering and video games. So we've produced, a ton of short films, these independent TV pilots, and then we just made our first feature film as a production company called Divine Blood that my wife wrote. We both co-directed. She starred in, and we both co-produced it. And we've got Lena Headey from Game of Thrones and Robin Tunney from The Craft and The Mentalist, and it was just like this insane, crazy, fulfilling, but Herculean effort to make a feature film. It's so tough, and I give kudos to anybody in the indie film space, because I just know how hard it is to actually get something made nowadays.
How many days were you guys actually in production, like filming?
We filmed for I think 18 days total. So we only shot for the weekdays. We gave our crew the weekends off. But obviously, as the director and producer, we were working every day. So on the weekends, we had to do even we literally had to pick up some other scenes. And my cameraman, who's one of my dear friends of mine, Jason Montalvo, is one of the producers on the film too. It would be we needed to get something. We're like, okay, we can do this MOS, which basically means no sound. We'll use natural light or whatever. So myself, Jason, the cameraman, and Allie would go and film these things, because it's we can save money by just doing this kind of skeleton crew aspect of things. And then we had maybe our grips and gaffs, a couple of them come as well. But it was 18 days. It was so tough. We were shot in upstate New York, and I was recording on games and anime at the same time. So I had to beg studios. I was recording the show Go Go Loser Ranger. I had to drive into Manhattan on the weekends to record the show, and then film and prep all throughout the week. It was intense. It was very intense.
You're basically not sleeping.
I think I slept an average of 2 to 3 hours a day, if that.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was
rough.
insane. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I guess why that pursuit? Is there a goal, and also where can people end up seeing the movie once? Is it ever going to be publicly available?
Yeah, that's we want that to be the goal at the end of the day, whether that's a theatrical release or streaming or whatever. But I think our first stop is the film festival circuit, and seeing what happens there, and hopefully we can partner with a distribution company and sales agents and stuff, and get it out to the masses. Ultimately, I think we make this stuff and we make art because we have a story we want to tell and we want people to see it. And that's kind of the goal with this movie. My wife wrote an amazing script that she had been working on for like 6 years, and it's super unique, and it's a story that a lot of people, especially like investors, they were like, how are you going to make this movie? And then like you just find the right partners and collaborators, and then at the end of the day, we had to just make the choice to say we're doing it no matter what, whether that means shooting it with $1 or $1 million. Like we were just shooting the movie, and that mind frame made it all happen. Like it changed everything. So the goal with the film production company is just to tell stories. We are constantly writing. I mean, she's written countless books and other movies and things, and I collaborate with her and write a lot of stuff with her too. I'm writing a play right now that we're thinking about maybe doing as our next film, because I didn't act in this movie, I just directed it. And it's just kind of like, I just want to make art, just want to tell stories. I just love the whole process. I think it's, again, we get one shot at this life, and why not like use it to inspire other people or to make people feel seen, and to tell the truth. The things that we don't want to talk about in real life, we can talk about in art. So that's the magic of it.
I love that approach. And I do agree that that's what films are great for. It kind of, as humans just love storytelling.
Yeah.
And actually, you made a short film called Eris. I think I already talked about it. Why do you think you wanted to raise awareness to the issues surrounding animal conditions, like in particular from that story?
Thank you for bringing that up. And that was our first short film as a production company. And we had this kitten that we adopted. It was our first time ever being like animal owners or companions, being the people who are responsible directly for the life of another being. And I wound up adopting this cat as like a gift for, she was my girlfriend at the time, and we were going through these hard times and just dealing with typical growing pains of a relationship. And I thought that having an animal would kind of bring us together, and it did in a lot of ways, because we fell in love with this little kitten who wound up having this terminal disease, FIP. And thankfully a lot of milestones have been made with the cure aspects of things and just kind of the treatment of it. At the time, there was no treatment. There was nothing you could do about it. Now we're just kind of getting in there. And we wound up partnering with the largest feline health research foundation in the world, the Win Feline Foundation. And even Seth MacFarlane had made an animal rescue, Heaven on Earth, Perry's Place, in honor of his mother, who's a huge animal advocate. And we wound up partnering with them as well. And we just had this heartbreaking experience with a kitten, like seeing this helpless being. And, we had no money at the time, and we only had limited resources, and just trying to do everything you can to save this animal's life. It left us distraught, and like to lose an animal like that. We just funneled all of that emotion into a story, and that's why we made it. And hopefully to help other people dealing with grieving an animal, ultimately was the goal. To create a story specifically about FIP and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's about falling in love with an animal and losing them, and then growing.
Yeah. It's horrible to say, but like when you have an animal and you adopt an animal, you kind of adopt the tragedy of that, because they just don't live as long as we do. It's very hard. Where can people see Eris?
Eris is on Amazon. I think you can stream it on Amazon. And it might be on some other places too. It's been such a while since we've, I think we made that film in 2016. So we're looking at like 10 years now.
It's a 10-year anniversary officially.
I know.
Wow.
Crazy. So yeah, that's available there.
Awesome. Well, let's get into some more upbeat topics.
Okay, yeah, let's just
yeah.
cheers.
Do you have any big goals for the next 5 years? Like, what is on your radar? What's on your mood board, or I guess your vision board?
Well, I mean, in terms of life, I would love to one day become a homeowner in the wonderful world of Los Angeles, where homes cost,
hard out here for sure, because everything's expensive everywhere, throughout the country, throughout the world.
That's a life goal. But professionally, I think I just want to keep being a part of great stories, being a part of these franchises that I've loved. Things like even Marvel Rivals that we see, where it's like some of my favorite characters, they're getting, other actors are getting this opportunity to be a part of these legacies. And I've been lucky enough to do that to certain degrees, but continuing down that road, being a part of new stories and being a part of the collaborative process of creating characters, whether that's in games or anime or animation. A lot of it is more of the same, but again, there's things like mocap and PCAP where I'd love to bring my experience as a theater performer, as an on-camera performer to video games. That would be really cool. And I would love to work in that space more. And even things as a filmmaker, just keep telling stories. We're already talking about this next idea that we want to do, and just creating and as much as it's about making that piece of art and letting the world decide what happens because of that, you never know what's going to be successful. I put air quotes up for anybody listening here, because that's such a subjective thing. But you do hope that a lot of people can see it so that it could affect them. So more of that, and hopefully that leads to the success of those things, again air quotes, leads to being able to do things on larger and larger scales.
And having more resources.
That is the biggest part. Yes, resources to make it easier. Hopefully.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna do some lighthearted questions, some things that it's just for fun. So
sure.
3 favorite games of all time, if you can name them. What would be your top 3?
Just going off the top of the dome here, Suikoden 2, one of my top favorites. Ocarina of Time, Zelda is up there. There's a wrestling match going in my head right now for these other games.
I get it.
I'm gonna throw Final Fantasy VII up there. I am. Those are games that kind of changed me. All 3 of those games changed me. And I think the list is way bigger than that. But those are the ones that eked out of the brain right now.
I love it. Who is the best video game character of all time?
Wow.
An impossible question, but
it is. One of the greatest villains of all time is from Suikoden 2, Luca Blight. He is a monster. Again, not like I don't think he's great because I think he's a horrible person, but like as a written character, he is ruthless. He is exactly what you want as a villain for the heroes to like overcome. I mean, this guy, spoilers for anybody who hasn't played a game that's 30 years old at this point. 30th anniversary of the series. But like this guy literally slaughters this little kid's family right in front of them and burns her whole village to the ground. And then she's so paralyzed with fear, she can't talk anymore. And then like in terms of the game, it takes like, how normally you have your party, like let's say it's like a 3-person party in a turn-based game to beat a character or a boss. In Suikoden, you have parties of 6. But that's not enough. You need 3 parties of 6 to take this guy down. He's that like insane. So I think he's one of the best written characters of all time.
I think picking a villain is definitely the way to go, because the villain, they're complex. They're sometimes more complex than the hero in some ways.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, we're gonna do this or that.
Okay.
So rapid fire, I'm gonna give you 2 choices of things to pick from, and you have to pick one. You have to pick one.
Okay.
Brooklyn or Los Angeles?
Brooklyn.
Voiceover or stage?
Voiceover.
Surfing or skateboarding?
Surfing.
Oh. Master any instrument or any language?
Any language.
Pizza or sushi?
Pizza.
Ramen or dim sum?
Ramen.
Japan or Europe?
Japan. I just went.
Nice. Cool, calm, collected superhero or witty everyday man?
Witty everyday man.
AAA project or hit indie game?
Hit indie game.
I love it.
Yeah.
Those are great. Good answers. How was
Those
Japan?
were tough. Those
are hard. I know. I made them hard on purpose. Yeah.
Stage and voiceover. That's like I said voiceover just because it's what I do more of now. But that's a good stage play. I think could heal a soul. Can heal a soul.
Love that. And Japan, how was it?
Japan was, my gosh. Again, I'm talking about Suikoden so much. You'd think I was sponsored. I went and saw their stage play that they're doing for the 30th anniversary of the series, and went to this exhibit they had, and it was one of the coolest things to ever experience because in Japan, they revere even like their stage actors. Like they get some of the best actors to be a part of these video game adaptation stage plays, and to see them revere these titles that, like, for me growing up, it was like, what is this niche weird thing you're talking about? Like, I've never heard of this. To see it be celebrated on such a grand scale was like, I felt like I'm like, this, I need more of this in my life. And I really kind of idolized that way of living. But also I got to go to Kyoto and Uji and Osaka, like just so beautiful. And I would love to go back. Yeah, it's such, I know they have a really bad tourism problem right now in Japan. So, but outside of that, it's just a very beautiful country. And they really kind of have a lot of things I respect as a culture, just very courteous to one another. No trash anywhere. Like I wish New York could adopt some of that mentality. Let's get rid of the trash cans.
Yeah, totally. Well, Paul, it was so great chatting with you this whole time. I have to say, like, you are so passionate about what you do. It's fascinating to listen to you speak about it. And you have like one of the coolest jobs in the world. Just want to say that. And
thank you.
Really appreciate you coming on the show.
It is my pleasure. You've asked some of the most amazing questions I've had doing a lot of these interviews. So thank you for being so specific. It's great.
Did our research. All right. Well, thanks, Paul. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.